What did your crush do that absolutely killed your interest? Told me that she didn't like me back anymore, but maybe if I waited long enough she would like me like that again. Edit. She told me that I had gotten more critical lately and I changed. So she wanted me to change back before she would be with me. His sister actually approached me and let me know that he was once arrested for locking their other pregnant sister in their basement, went on a coke binge while she desperately tried to get out, and went outside to beat their unsuspecting neighbor's van with a golf club. That was a big ol' nope. She slept with my dad. She invited me over to her place, not as a date thing, but just to hang out as friends. Her house was absolutely filthy and the glass of coke she gave me had a hair in it. She was really cute, had a great personality, and was a genuinely nice person. But as soon as I saw cat it on the floor near the front door and just dirty everything, my crush disappeared and I left in a hurry. Turned out to be the person eating everyone else's food from the break room fridge. Wanted to look through my phone on our first date to make sure I wasn't talking to anyone else. That was our last date. Edit. It kind of surprises me some people think I'm a man and the other party was a woman. It's the other way around. Toxic stuff nonetheless. Kept arranging times to talk and whatnot, then always forgot or was not available. She asked me if I was good with kids because she was pregnant with her ex and that she's not good with kids. It was the first date. He picked me up for our first date and his car was disgusting. Not talking a few trash items. The entire backseat and floorboard was completely covered in piled up trash. Even up front, I had to step on empty McDonald's bags, old soda bottles, wrappers to even get in. And all he said was, just move it around with your feet. No sorry or anything. Made me feel like trash too. Like dang. Couldn't even clean up a little? Yee. I don't get washing. I just don't really like taking a shower or a bath or anything. We worked together and as I got to know him more I learned he talked badly about everyone. Nurses that are amazing he'd belittle. Talk about how certain people don't know what they're doing because they asked for an ultrasound IV as they were struggling getting a vein on a heroin addict. The paramedics were worthless. Doctors don't know what they're doing. Who he thought was hooking up and it completely turned me off. He's in his early 40s and into gossip more than my teenage daughter. We played Monopoly. That game brings out the absolute worst in people. Talked non-stop about himself and his accomplishments and never asked me one question about myself. Said she was staring up a group for LGBT youth. I asked her why, and then realized I had been barking up the wrong tree. Huge crush on a fellow uni student. I was invited over for what I expected to be a platonic study date, but hey, any time spent is better than just being alone. Or so I thought. Got there and found another student from class also. Okay, study group. Turns out her mom and her set us up for a full press MLM pitch. Video, literature, the works. I stayed a bit not to be rude, excused myself shortly, and only talked to her in class just in passing from then on. Huge letdown. Edit. MLM means multi-level marketing. A pyramid scheme. Signing up to both buy and sell something, while recruiting others to sell also. You get a percent of all of your recruits' sales also. All the percentages basically flow upward. So the only way to make any significant money is to be high in the tree, towards the top of the pyramid. It's all bullet, basically. Well, it turns out he wasn't interested in girls, so I knew I had to kill my feelings or feel stupid for keeping them. We were teenagers. He lived in a different province, and we used to chat on Skype. He wanted me to think he was a badass or something and would always talk about his drug use. He ended up faking a heroin overdose when we were on chat together. I was hysterically crying and freaking out thinking I was watching someone dying and was trying to figure out how to call 911 in another province when he snapped out of it and told me he was actually okay. I didn't talk to him much after that. She detested cats and insisted that I give up my furry buddy before she'd move in with me. It wasn't that she was allergic to cats. She issued the ultimatum because, according to her, my cat received too much of my time and affection, and she wasn't going to compete. Told me he liked dating broken girls so he could fix them. See ya later, boner. Bullied the quiet kid in our class. Dude was the perfect epitome of the term douchebag. He used to be nice to people only to gain their trust and then betray them. He was attractive though and a smooth talker as well. We started talking, became friends and I developed a crush on him. Unfortunately, I never knew then what type of double-headed snake he was. Then on one day I witnessed him throwing his best friend under the bus just to save his reputation. Completely lost interest. Cut ties with him and he gave no it about it. Only then did I realize how toxic people can be sometimes. Edit. Grammar. I was 21 and in college. He was a classmate of mine. He seemed so charming and was easy on the eyes. One day I overheard him talking to his friends about how he doesn't date engineer women because math is for men. Edit. Some people are missing the point here. It's not that he said he wouldn't want to date an engineer that bothered me. It's that he said that women aren't meant for math. Light the back fence of the school on fire to impress a mate. Edit. Should add that he did it whilst high. Weed is not legal here in Australia yet. She got blackout drunk at a party and violently shat her pants. The smell alone completely turned me off of any interest I had. This was years ago. On a first date, tried to convince me to quit my job and put all my savings into gold bars. Then demanded I let him read my tarot cards to see if we'd be a good fit. Nope. Talked it about every woman in his life. Should have seen the red flags earlier. Didn't realize until later that he probably did the same to me. Apparently having an opinion about anything and speaking for yourself isn't a very ladylike thing to do. Threw my $2,000 laptop through my new big screen TV. We were going on a date and when we were just next to the cinema she found her friend and she went with her instead. Stole from a homeless person. We were walking together downtown and she saw a bucket of coins in front of a pharmacy. She just scooped it all up and kept walking. Guy comes out as she's 20 feet away or so and yells at her. She keeps moving. I stood there and just gave him a $20 and didn't hang out with her anymore. We were 14 and 15. Being rude to the waiter and complain that food is taking too long during dinner rush hour. I work in the industry for a year. It's not easy when being slammed during rush. Kicked a dog. Edit. I don't understand any of the references in the comments. Told me he was only being nice to me because he was interested in a friend of mine. I see his Facebook posts now. He is dumber than a box of rocks on a treadmill. Told me I wasn't attractive and that she could never possibly like me. Game over. Girl in car behind him honked when the light turned green. He got out of the car and began screaming and banging on her windshield. That's when I knew he was a psycho and I needed to get out of that relationship. Took me a destroyed home and 2 restraining orders later, but we've been broken up for 3 years now. There was a girl in college who was super hot until I saw her share a lollipop with her dog. Not like let him have the last lick or 2. No. She'd hold it for a while then hold it out to let the dog lick it for a bit then put it back in her mouth. Ducking gross. I'll kiss you but I'd never date you. FKU. She asked if things didn't work out if I would mind if she went out with my roommate. I said I couldn't possibly do that to him and left. Dumped me after 9 months because she wasn't ready for a serious relationship. Got into a relationship the next day and was married within 5 months. Treated me like it for being the only female in our paintball team. He said that women belong to kitchen, not battlefield. Edit. I never though the worst memory of my life will bring me the most karma out of everything I've ever posted. Thanks. I kinda hope he has read it and find it now. Edit 2. Guys, I made a mistake. He didn't say battlefield. We are Polish. He said something that cannot be translated perfectly. So I just captured the idea. The word battlefield is mine. I didn't know how to call it in English. Now I know it's a field. Sorry. Bragged about drinking and driving. He told me that he and his friends have a nothing under 100 club, where they drink and then drive on the interstate going 100 plus mph and have to send a full-length Snapchat video of the speedometer to each other. 2 of my friends had been killed by a drunk driver 3 months prior. Too critical about every word I uttered under the name of sarcasm. My 18-year-old self thought it would be cute to invite him to a Christmas parade, but this dude had the audacity to ask me why I thought he would ever be interested in someone like me. Edit. YAY my first 3k. I wish I could take you all to a Christmas parade. Also, I met my boyfriend just over a year ago and it has been the most wonderful surprise of my life. Copyright airing. Revealed his list of conquests. Not even my brother knows how many women I've slept with. Then he offered to take my virginity in the back of his pickup truck. I passed. Told me that smart girls are ugly and dumb girls are beautiful, so he'd rather date a dumb girl and wouldn't date me because I'm smart. Edit. Wow. This is the most upvotes I've gotten. Thanks guys, less than 3. Edit 2. Thanks kind stranger for the award. It's my first award. Thank you very much. Smoked. I know it's shallow and it makes me kind of a D, I'm aware, but I seriously can't stand the smell of cigarette smoke. Sorry for my bad English, but here is my story. I had a crush on someone. Let's call her Amanda. For 3 years I tried to get with her. Amanda used me if she needed attention and I was cool with that. One night Amanda was ringing my doorbell at 2 AM. It was obvious that Amanda was drunk and I let her in so we could talk. After a few minutes she said she wants me to FCK her. I told her that I never sleep with someone who's drunk, but we could do it when she is sober. She got angry and the insults came flying. She stormed out of my house, got in her car, backed it up into my motorcycle and drove away. I never talked to her again after that night. Edit. Let me answer a few questions. 1. Did you call the police? When this all happened I was in shock and didn't even think about calling the police. I texted her parents and explained the situation. I didn't report her because her parents offered to pay for the damage. 2. Was your motorcycle damaged? Yes. I don't know the words in English for what was damaged, but the cost to fix it was about $2,000. Placed the tip on the table before we'd received service. Before using it as a threat. Real ugly. In college, I was crazy about a girl named Megan. She was maybe 2 years younger than me. Blonde, life of the party type gal. Took her to dinner and chatted her up about her life. Got to talking about past so's and realized she had very little experience with meaningful, loving relationships. Romantically, it seemed she was on autopilot. In fact, the more we talked the more obvious it became that she wasn't ready to love anyone but herself. Which, yeah no, good for her. Self-love and self-discovery are kind of big parts of going away to college and growing up. But I realized in that moment that what I wanted versus what she wanted were miles apart. It was a crystallizing moment. And I felt the distance between us widen and watched her shrink away. Never asked her out again. And she never asked why. Either she felt it, too, or autopilot just kicked in, or she just wasn't interested. Kissed me and then, after he pulled away, told me he has a girlfriend. He talked about how he and his friends used to abuse farm cats. They talked about one that was buried and then run over. I did a quick 180 and absolutely hated him. Edit. Little late now, but thank you everyone for the upvotes. Unfortunately I only heard about the abuse when he was talking to someone else. And it wasn't a recent thing. Think high school. And at this point he was a few years into college. I also live in Farmtown, USA. So this really isn't an uncommon thing. And I doubt the cops would do anything. I'm glad to see so many caring people on here. Though, cats don't get as much love in my community as they should. Our 3 are here living in spoiled royalty. And my dad hates it. Didn't wash his hands after using the bathroom. Basically shut me down and made it clear to me that I was being the typical nice guy cliche. This is back when I was about 20. After a couple of days of sulking, I started examining my behavior and realized she was absolutely right. Glad it happened. My ideas of how relationships should work were entirely twisted at the time. I got my it together shortly after, addressed my stupid and entitled behavior, worked on myself, mentally and physically, and eventually met an amazing woman who is now my wife. Scary to look back and think how close I got to becoming one of those incel neckbud types. She offered to drive and picked me up in her car because we had plans to go out to dinner and get to know each other better. I realized after about 20 minutes she was not driving to the restaurant and instead stopped at a gas station to get into someone else's car and buy drugs. Basically made me accessory to a drug deal under false pretenses. Had a crush on this girl back in high school. She seemed like a sweet girl. After she rejected me I let it go but still was interested in maintaining some sort of friendship. Found out she was actually pretty toxic behind my back. She made fun of me for a lot of things that really didn't matter, like hand motions while talking, and I just lost interest in her entirely, even in a friendship. This was in preschool, but she put relish on her hot dog. Game over. I've since learned to love relish and always wonder what could have been. He told me he hadn't read a single book in his life. She started to talk and I realized she's dumb. Started gaming with him and learned that he threw tantrums worthy of a toddler when losing matches. Asked if I wanted a drink of her Coke. I said yes and took one. Then she laughed and haha, you have my cold now. He didn't believe in dinosaurs. One of those super religious types, and someone got into a conversation with him about dinosaurs and he was absolutely convinced that dinosaur bones were put there by the devil to trick us. Double quote. As a firm lover of dinosaurs, as soon as I heard that, any and all attraction disappeared. Edit. This post got a bit bigger than I ever expected and the comments are cracking me up. I love dinosaurs and doodling them so much that I made a little doodle to celebrate. Thank you all. Filmed me and made Snapchat stories of it, all while I was in an argument with somebody from our neighborhoods. Just know, I am so kind to you. Why would you do that? Immediately blocked her on WhatsApp and unfollowed everywhere. Edit. Somebody commented I would not mind. She clearly did not ask me for permission. It was an argument where I was being yelled at for parking mistake. If she enjoys somebody confronting me for an unintentional error, I don't think so. She is worth it. Thanks for the upvotes. She said I smile too much. Duck you. I smile when I want to. I try to find joy. This was in college. We were acquaintances and had a few classes together. He was cute, funny, and I totally had a crush on him. He asked me out to dinner and a movie. At the restaurant he ordered the most expensive things on the menu. Apps, drinks, lobster, and even dessert. When the bill came he said, "You got this, right?" I was so embarrassed I paid. Then I said I'd skip the movie because I wasn't feeling well and he asked me to give him $20 for gas and for wasting his time. I didn't and just left. Ugh. After that he couldn't seem to understand why I didn't want to go out with him again. In a group text with a ton of our mutual friends he ignited an argument about lockdown and ended it with, "Sorry, I just like arguing," and that didn't pass the vibe check. We were in the process of getting together. She had called over and we spent an afternoon watching movies and sitting close together. By about 8 in the evening she was considering staying later and I was casually encouraging her. She asked if she could take a shower, and I was like, yeah, sure, of course. Glad that the bathroom was clean and tidy and I had fresh towels. Anyway, about 4 minutes later she calls me saying she needs help with the shower, and I give her a moment to get a towel around herself and knock on the bathroom door. She opens it completely naked and shows me that she's having trouble with the shower controls. So I'm kinda unsure whether to make the move or start with the controls, so I go with the flow and show her this is hot and cold. This is pressure. This is rainforest. And this is power jets. In the 5 seconds it takes me to do this she has sat on the toilet. Which is kinda a weird thing because I need to be able to make the next move. And she's sitting on the toilet, naked, with the lid up, looking all disinterested. I'm thinking I've screwed it up when suddenly, full stop, kersplosh, and she takes a dump right in front of me, and then another one. I was just I'll leave you to it. Haven't dated in 24 years but mine treated a waiter like it. Nope. Holocaust denial. He tried to discreetly take photos of my feet. Nothing against people who are into that, but the way he was going about it was super creepy. Chewed with her mouth open on our first date. I never thought something like that could kill my interest so rapidly. I was giving her a place to sleep when she was feuding with her mother. After weeks of picking up after her, I dared to complain. She had a screaming fit, packed up her crap and left. I was glad to be rid of her, until later it got around to me that she was telling people on FB that I kicked her out for refusing to give me a blowjob. There is a lot I can forgive, but that was the first time I had ever had anyone just straight up make stuff up about me. Duck you. She physically shushed me in a group with her finger on my lips while I was singing along with my friends to a cover band. She brought a friend to dinner with us, which was okay. I didn't mind. Then they both shoplifted afterward while I was on the other side of the store. Told her I didn't date thieves and she broke down apologizing.